Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Vish. It's been a while since I filmed the video, but I'm here now. Uni is almost at a close for this semester and I'm just gonna have more free time to do content and I'm so excited. Of course, it's October, spooky month. I'm wearing my spooky shirt. There is construction outside, as you can hear, and I hate it, but this is the only time I could film, so bear with me. Anyway, this video, I'm going to be talking about my fourth quarter TBR, which is October, November, and December. So, it is the end of the year. I cannot believe it. And normally the end of the year is my least favorite part of the year because it is summer and I absolutely hate summer. So I'm not looking forward to it. However, like I said, uni is at a close for this semester. I will have more time to make more content, so I'm excited to get back to it. Thank you for bearing with me all these months while I was at uni. I really appreciate it, and also a special thank you to my patrons for dealing with me and also for their continued support. Okay, so this TBR is going to be split into two sections, which is priorities and a pile of possibilities, because I've been reading less and less these last couple of months. I have been very much in the reading mood, but I have not been picking up a book to read. So I'm going to make use of my mood reading the next 3 months. So let's go through my priorities first. So basically all my priorities right now and obligations are all Patreon stuff. So let's go through that first. So if you don't know, I have a Patreon, and for all my tiers, we've been doing Mass Along, which is reading Sarah J Maas's backlist books. And we started with Throne of Glass, and this month, October, we're going to be reading Kingdom of Ash, which is the 8th and final book in the Throne of Glass series. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I know the pain is coming. I'm very, very nervous, but I'm very excited to read this conclusion. I've only read it once when it first came out, so I'm excited to dive back into this and remember what the heck happened in here. I know key events, but not everything. And of course, there will be a live show in the beginning of November for my patrons. So after that, in November, we will be going to the ACOTAR series and we'll be reading A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. And then in December, we will be reading A Court of Mist and Fury, one of my favorite books of all time. I love this book so much. It means a lot to me. Also, I actually do have a spoiler-filled vlog for the ACOTAR series on my channel. I'll link it if you want to watch it. However, if you don't know, I'm sure all of you know what the ACOTAR series is, but if you don't know, it follows our main character Feyre, who has been providing for her family for a while now since her dad lost all their money and they are now very, very poor. And Feyre tries and puts food on the table and some money on the table as well, and one day she accidentally kills Fae, and the consequences of that is that she gets taken to the Fae realm, leaving her family behind. So the first one is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and that Court of Mist and Fury, I think it's a Hades and Persephone retelling. I'm not sure what Court of Wings and Ruin is, but I know it's a retelling of some sort. But of course, again, Court of Mist and Fury is my favorite book of all time. I'm excited. I read the ACOTAR series, reread the ACOTAR series last February. I'm excited to dive back into it. The next two books I want to talk about as well are for my patrons. So, first book I want to talk about is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. It is perfect for spooky season, but it's also a green bone pick for, I believe, August. I think I'm very behind my green bone picks because of uni, so I'm catching up. So this one's in August, Ninth House, and I'm very excited to read this. My mom is one of my patrons, so she picked this. She's been hounding me to read this, so I'm pretty sure she's excited for me to read this. Not sure what Ninth House is about, but I know there is ghosts, it's dark academia, and the second book is coming out in January. So it's a good time to read this because the sequel is coming out soon. And the next book is Vespertine by Margaret Rogerson, and this is the pick for June, I believe. I think, or September. I'm not too sure. But again, it's my mom's pick, which is very interesting. She got 2 months in a row. She's been wanting me to read this as well because she really liked Margaret Rogerson. So again, another spooky read. It's been compared to Venom a lot because we have our main character who gets, I guess, possessed by a dark entity, and that dark entity speaks within her. So that's why it reminds me of Venom. So it's definitely a good spooky read as well. Don't know if I'm going to read this in October, but for the next 3 months, I will definitely be picking up these two. And the last two books I want to talk about is my Patreon book club Sluts and Guts Book Club. My patrons love that name. I'm so glad I came up with it. I love the name as well. And for the month of September and October, we're going to be reading A Soul to Keep by Oprah Rain. She's an Australian author. I didn't know that until yesterday when I'm filming this. And this is a monster fantasy romance, I believe. And we have our main character who gets sacrificed to this monster. And I guess a romance ensues. So I'm very excited to read this. I don't know why it's 500 pages, but I'm excited to read this. There will be a live show in the beginning of November, and I believe I will have a special guest for that, which is Christine from the Roomies Digest, joining us for that live show. So I'm very excited. And the last book I'm gonna add, which we haven't picked yet, which is the November and December pick for the Sluts and Guts book club. But I'm leaning towards Guts this time since we already have the Sluts in September and October. So it might be a thriller of some sort for the month of November and December. So I'm excited for that. So those are my priorities. If you'd like to join my Patreon, link is always down below. We have weekly reading sprints, sometimes twice a week. We have Supernatural Watch Along for my Green Bone tier. My Green Bones get to recommend me a book, and then I read it for that month and do a vlog for them as well. And of course, we have the Sluts and Guts book club, and again, Mass Along, and variety of things that I just chuck in there whenever I want. And I love my patrons. They support me continuously, support the channel as well. So if you're interested, join us. The link is always down below. All right, moving on to our pile of possibilities. First, we start with Becca's new Patreon book club, Alpha Hose Book Club. Love the name. And I think we're starting with the Lore of the Thalassa series. And I'm not sure what the series is called, but the first book is called Pestilence. The second book is called War. And the third book is called Famine. So I believe we're reading one book a month. So October is Pestilence, November is War, and then Famine will be December. I'm excited to read all of these. I've been wanting to read them for a long time now. And again, it's fantasy romance. So I believe, again, we're following each of the 4 horsemen. Oh, the series is called the 4 Horsemen series. Duh. So we're following each of the 4 horsemen and their love story, and I cannot wait to read this. The next book I want to talk about is The Final Strife. This is the Goldsboro edition of this. I love this edition. So anyway, I think a bunch of us want to buddy read this, and we totally forgot at one point. And good thing Sam from Griff Reads reminded us. So we might be reading The Final Strife this month or for the next 3 months. I'm not sure. So the buddy read is between me, Sam, another Sam, Abby, Joanna, and I think Sophia as well. Since we all have a copy, we thought, hey, we could buddy read this. So we might be buddy reading. This is, I believe, is a young adult fantasy. And I know nothing about this except my good friend Joshana absolutely loved this book. And I know it's something to do with a blood caste system. I think blue bloods are at the bottom and the red bloods are at the top. I'm sure there is something to do with war and politics in here as well, and I cannot wait to read this, especially with this edition. It's beautiful. All right, for the next few books, there will be a theme to this because I'm working on a vlog, and I would like the vlog to be finished before the end of the year, so these are the books that are in that vlog. You can guess the theme, it's not a secret. So the first book is The Atlas 6, Jesus by Olivia Blake. I've actually read half of this book before it was published by Tor. And from what I remember, I was really enjoying it, and then I just put it down for some reason. So I'm excited to pick it back up and read the traditionally published edition. Jesus Christ. Anyway, I'm excited to read this. It is a dark academia book, perfect for October season. Actually, a lot of this books is perfect for October, but I can't read that much books in October. Like last month, I read only 5 books. So in this book, we're following 6 perspectives, and these 6 people were chosen to enter the secret Alexandrian society, and they kind of have to battle it out with their gifts to enter the Alexandrian society. Only one of them can. So I'm guessing that is the whole of this book, but if there is sequels, I'm wondering if there is something bigger at play here. So we'll see what happens in here, but I'm very excited to read this, and obviously this edition is beautiful. It's by Fairy Loot. Next book is The City of Dust by Tara Sim. Again, Jesus, white balance. And this is also a Fairy Loot edition. I don't know much of this, but it says here, for each realm there is a god, and for each god there is an heir. And it is the first in a sweeping epic fantasy trilogy set in a gorgeous world of dark magic, vengeful gods, and rebellious chosen ones. So these are all my buzzwords. So I'm excited to read this. I haven't heard good things. I'm gonna read it and see what I think. I think Tara Sim wrote Forest of Souls, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm very excited to read this. It is a thicker one, but with dark magic and gods being in here and different realms as well, yeah, I think I'm gonna enjoy this one. The next book is Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson. And this is again a Fairy Loot edition. I think you can see the theme here. And again, I don't know much about this book except it is to do with witches in Her Majesty's Royal Coven, and they protect the crown and country from magical forces and otherworldly evil, but their greatest enemy will come from within. There are whisperings of a prophecy that will bring the coven to its knees, and four best friends are about to be caught at the center. Sounds like it's gonna have a found family trope, and of course, witches. I love anything to do with witches. One of my favorite TV shows of all time is Charmed, and of course, another favorite show of all time is Buffy, and one of my favorite characters in Buffy is Willow, and she's a witch. So I love witches very, very much. They have a special place in my heart, and I love witchy stories. So I'm very excited to be reading this sometime soon. A lot of the Fairy Loot books I feel like I'm going to love, so we'll see what happens there. That's the whole point of this vlog, by the way. And the last book for that vlog is, of course, The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy by Megan Bannon. Another Fairy Loot edition, very pretty, and I think this is a fantasy romance. It looks like it's set in the modern world based on like the art, but it feels like it's a Victorian setting, but I have no idea, or like a fantasy world setting. It looks like it's going to be a hate to love story, forced proximity as well, because they probably have to work together, and it also has a trope where they're writing letters to each other, but they don't know the other person is the person that they're thinking about or hate or not like. So I'm excited to read that. It says the house in the Cerulean Sea meets You've Got Mail in this quirky, refreshing fantasy with a rom-com worthy twist. So again, I feel like I'm gonna really, really like this. I've heard really good things from people that actually are presently surprised that they really like this. So I'm very excited to read this as well. All right, the next book I want to talk about is actually voted by my patrons because of course it is spooky month and I want to read as much spooky books as I can. So the first spooky book that they've chosen for me to read this month is Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. I'm actually working on a vlog to incorporate this and a couple of other books. If you can guess what the vlog is, leave it in the comments, but I'm excited to be reading this and a couple of other books that I won't mention. And Mira Grant is a pen name for Shauna Maguire, and I do really like Shauna Maguire's books. I've only read the Wayward Children series. I haven't read Middle Game just yet, but I'm excited to read this because it's to do with mermaids, killer mermaids. We have a group of people that were trying to do a mockumentary of the Mariana Trench, and they go on this expedition to the trench. They wanted to film the ancient sea creatures of legend in the Mariana Trench, but something happened and they all die, and now a new crew is assembled to investigate what happened to the original crew. Chaos ensues, and I'm very excited. It's going to be very, very creepy. I think great for this spooky season. I'm glad my patrons chose it, and once I'm done with this vlog, I'm definitely going to ask them to pick more spooky books for me to read. Very, very excited. So the next three books the next four books basically I kind of want to read before the end of the year so I can make progress in that series and also complete some series. So the first book I want to talk about is Deadly Dreams by KJ Sutton. So I've been halfway since July, and I'll say I'm really enjoying this series because I'm attached to the characters now, but my one gripe is the pacing is all over the place. So the first book, the pacing was fast, and I went to the second book and I was like, Jesus, this is fast, not the first book. And then now I'm here in Deadly Dreams and it's really, really slow. So the pacing is just all over the place, but I think I need to finish this in order to move on because I've heard that Beautiful Nightmares, the pacing has been sorted out and it's better. So I really want to continue the series and see what happens because I am hooked. I'm invested in the characters, I'm invested in the story, so I want to see what happens. So I definitely want to pick this up and move on to the last book. Well, not last book. It is the last book that has been released. The next book is Dreams of God's Monsters by Laini Taylor. I have been here since I want to say April or March. It is insane. I haven't finished this book. I don't know why. I will say I'm kind of disappointed in this series because I really love The Strange Dreamer duology by Laini Taylor, and I really love Daughter of Smoke and Bone. But the second and the third book so far have really disappointed me. I thought it would be in the same level of Daughter of Smoke and Bone, but it's not. I feel like the series has been declining for me in terms of characters in the story. I do love the side characters in this. That's why I'm still reading this. But like with the plot, it seems very generic for me. But of course, this is an old YA series, so it's fine. Like I've read it before, but I do want to finish this so I can say I've completed the series. I don't have much left, even though it looks like much. It is a very, very quick read. So I want to read this so I can complete the series and get it off my list. And also, if you can see from my fairy vlog, they're all first book to a series, so it's not going to do anything to my series list, really. But at least if I take off, you know, some books off that series, maybe it'll even out, you know? One can dream. The second last book I want to talk about is Wicked Beauty by Katie Roberts. This is the newest book that has come out in the Dark Olympus series. The first book being Neon Gods, the second book being Electric Idol, and now the third book, Wicked Beauty. I'm pretty sure the fourth book is coming out like in January. It's really hard to keep up with this series when a book is coming out very quickly. But anyway, Wicked Beauty, I believe, is about Helen, Achilles, and Patroclus. I guess I am excited. However, Electric Idol really disappointed me. If you've read Katie Robert, vanilla is not the word I would describe her, but Electric Idol was very vanilla, and I was shocked. So I'm hoping Wicked Beauty is better than Electric Idol, but we'll see. And again, this takes out the Dark Olympus series from my not completed to ongoing, so hopefully it'll help. The last book for my series project is A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. I've read this, and now the third book has come out. Third and final book has come out, and I kind of don't remember what happens in this, so I do want to reread this to complete this series. I do have a love-hate relationship with this series. I love the world and I really like the characters. However, I don't like the writing style. There's so much exposition in this and I just don't like it. Unless the expositions are kind of like Daughter of the Forest by Juliet Merlier. That's just beautiful. This one is just info dump for no reason through exposition. I feel like there's a lot of other ways you can obviously convey information to the readers, but I don't like the way Naomi Novik does it. So I want to reread this so I can read the second and third book in the series to complete the series. They're all very short-ish from what I can see. So yeah, I want to make progress in this series. I'm just joining everyone for the October season, even though it's not fall here, it's spring. But one can just dream and just pretend that it is autumn here, but it's not. Of course, I do have a lot of spooky reads that I want to read in October, but I don't know if I'm gonna get to all of them. We will see. If you've made it this far, let's put the, you know, the red devil emoji. I'll put it here just so, you know, it matches this vibe, I feel like. Also, let me know down in the comments below, what is your favorite horror movie? I feel like mine is just very basic and it's Scream. I also really like The Exorcist because it scared the shit out of me when I was a teenager. So I'll say those two, The Exorcist and Scream. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to. All my socials and my Patreon is linked down below if you want to check them out. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!